These birds right now are tuning me and us to a higher frequency. Can you hear that? I asked for clarity taking my walk out here to only express light, to only express clarity, free of distortions, misperceptions, because I know you and I, brother, are here to hold, channel, and to be vessels of this higher resonance in the world right now. And for many of us, that means bringing light into the places that are the darkest, both on the in the world and within ourselves. It can be easy when we have spiritual gifts to take a higher perspective that does not include the shadows within ourselves. The shadows being the things that we feel are unlovable, that we don't want others to see, or we are not allowing ourselves to see on some level. This attunement with these birds all around right now is a safety field for us to welcome what has been hidden, to know that it's safe to feel even the most challenging feelings, to acknowledge even the darkest experiences that we've had, even those thoughts that we have that we think, I shouldn't be thinking that. That's not in alignment with my highest self. All of that needs to come into the light with us. All of that needs to be welcomed. To embrace our shadow is part of being in the light. That is why we step into the light in the first place, right? I know right now my shadow is behind me, and I can imagine bringing it right here, pulling it in, embracing everything that I've wanted to deny. That's what this time is about. You have a warrior energy to have agreed to come into this body, this life, the family that you came into with, the experiences that you knew you would have in this lifetime, to be one that at some point was rejected so that you could be coming back to yourself, approving of yourself, and that being the gift. Someone recently posted that they feel it's time for them to step into their purpose. And I would like to offer that we are all already living in our purpose. By being a gay man in this lifetime, our purpose as a collective is to be an example of self-acceptance, self-approval, self-love, while being infused from the very beginning of our lifetimes with a false self. This false self that said that there's something wrong with us, that we should be ashamed and that we should hide things, that our desires should be hidden, that who we are should be hidden. So simply to continue existing and to have some semblance of love and respect for yourself, to own who you are to whatever degree you're able right now, that is your purpose. You are elevating the frequency of this planet by being in love, in love, by expressing who you are. And so owning your shadow, calling it in and loving it, acknowledging that it is an important part of you and that it's welcomed, that is your purpose. That is a part of your purpose. And so as we do that, then what happens is we do elevate in our own consciousness in a way that is grounded and rooted, that isn't disembodied, that isn't about going somewhere else to try to keep from the fear of our shadow or our pain, but to include all of it, to say, all of this is sacred. All of this is important and valuable and worthy. Then we are in alignment with Source. Then we are in alignment with the Creator, with the light. Because the light touches everything. It doesn't ignore. It doesn't cast anything out. It is including everything. The light right now on earth today will touch everything that it sees. The light of the Creator touches everything. Nothing is unloved. You are not unloved. This feels like a message that so many of us have needed throughout our lifetimes. To remember that we are loved. No matter what happens, no matter the circumstances, no matter who we are in relationship with or who we feel rejected by, we are loved. So can you feel that in this moment? Can you accept that in this moment? Can you be the one that loves all of you in this moment? So as we continue to agree that we are loved, that we are lovable, as we continue to say yes to the light and yes to the shadow, we are elevated to this higher consciousness, and that higher consciousness then shows us the particular path. Again, one step at a time, right? Sometimes we might have a big vision for this is what I'm meant to do. Oh, I meant to open this business. I'm meant to do this with my time and my energy. We might have those big visions to help show us this is where I'm headed, but then you still have to take one step at a time. As you take those steps, you will be shown. All of the people and the circumstances will come together one step at a time, and things will fall apart. Things will die. I was recently working with someone, and we were doing some deep healing on his past and transforming long-standing challenges in his life, things that were compulsive behaviors that he's wanted for so long to let go of. And as they started to unwind these patterns and the root causes of them, as they started to unwind, he found himself feeling grief because it felt like a loss. That even though he didn't want these patterns to exist, it felt like losing a friend. And that is what happens. As we elevate, sometimes we may actually lose friends in this world. And when things fall apart, when things die, when the false self and our protective mechanisms fall away, it can feel very lonely and vulnerable, raw even, because those things have been our friends. They've been our protectors. So it's okay to feel some sense of grief or fear, even that what happens, who am I without these beliefs about myself? Who am I without these misperceptions? Who am I if I'm not hiding in the shadows or rejecting parts of myself? That's understandable. So if and when you experience that, be kind to yourself. Self-compassion in this process is everything. It's the foundation for everything, for your healing, for your self-expression, for your relationships. So many of us have become very good at criticizing ourselves, judging ourselves. So it's a practice to start with self-compassion, that everything makes sense. Even the things that feel like backslides, they make sense. Confusion makes sense. So trust right now where you are is perfect. Step out into the light, find your shadow, pull it in, welcome it here, bring self-compassion. Feel free to grieve as the false self dies away. Let yourself be elevated. Trust that where you are, what you are doing in this very moment is a part of your purpose. Just simply being here is a part of your purpose. And that one step at a time, your very specific calling will show itself. Thank you for still being here. Thank you for moving through all of the density that would make you believe that you're not worthy, that you don't have value. Thank you for not believing the stories that were deeply embedded into your psyche, your heart, even your personality. For coming to this point in your life, for making it this far, and still loving yourself. Thank you. We need you. Keep going. Much love.